Right? We got Pawn Stars got exposed for being fake. Agent Zero reacting to Pawn Stars, the fakest show on TV. Here's the evidence by Patrick CC. Reacted to a reaction video. Whoop-de-doo!
Pawn Stars is the fakest show on TV. Here's the evidence.
Ours is the fakest reality show in history, yet somehow they tricked millions of Americans into watching 700 episodes over the past 15 years. Fake customers, fake conversations, a fake story.
What? That Mbappe jersey y'all see right there, the signed Mbappe jersey, that's where I got it from. That alone was 3,000, dude.
Or fake items, shady experts with suspicious backgrounds to verify the value of those items. Even the image of the Harrisons being a humble, hard-working blue-collar family is mostly fake. The TV show was essentially an extremely calculated...
What's this dude name right here?
Blue-collar family...
Chimney, Chubby.
It's mostly fake. The TV show was essentially an extremely calculated and systematic distraction to prevent the sellers from realizing they were being borderline scammed. And in this video, we are going to expose it step by step. However, this system was built out of desperation because the cast we now know today was actually so unlikable in real life that nobody initially wanted to work with them. The show's producer, Brent Montgomery, recalls the first time meeting them. I walked out of the pawn shop and I said, I never want to go there again. These guys smoked, they were saying the same jokes over and over. I was actually the fourth producer to work with them, and so I certainly didn't think that was going to be a hit show. Additionally, pawn shops are not exactly a secret gold mine of treasure and rare artifacts. Most shops mainly make their money through loans given to extremely desperate people. Sellers will offer the pawn shop their lawnmowers, blenders, TVs, firearms, anything with a little bit of value. Then the shop gives them 25 to 60% of the item's resale value in cash, and the seller only has 30 or 60 days to buy the item back with interest. The average pawn shop loan value is 75 to 100 bucks, meaning these people are likely next to broke, struggling to keep a roof over their head, or withdrawing from hard drugs. Rick Harrison, the main character and owner of Gold and Silver Pawn in Las Vegas, said, I think it's 20% of the adult population in the United States that does not have a bank account, and most of them can't get one. They don't have credit cards, they don't have anything like that for when some small emergency pops up. A lot of people don't realize that up until the 1950s, pawn shops were the #1 form of customer credit in the United States.
They were?
So it's safe to say a show about struggling Americans giving away their possessions for $100 out of desperation isn't exactly the most entertaining idea, which is why their pilot episode was shot down by every major network.
Can't give me two?
No. No. I can do 120. It's the best I can do.
I'll pawn it for that.
One time,
How'd it do?
Bought a bunch of stuff at Walmart on his credit card. He brought it in here. His grandmother was in the hospital, and she didn't have insurance. I pawned him for him, and then he went out and he stayed up all night. He won $50,000 and came back.
Yeah, what was that?
He stayed up all night. He won $50,000 and came back. Got the TVs back, took them back to Walmart.
So if the pawn shop employees were unlikable and the day-to-day business of pawn shops is low-key depressing, the show is dead in the water, right?
Your Picasso is from...
Agent, come on, man.
Hydrated from opener to encore.
Come on, Agent. Bro, is everything working? There's a perk on to see if everything's working. Yep, everything working, all right.
Bro, I did get that Picasso painting from the pawn shop.
Yo, Agent! Oh, you got scammed!
Hey, hold on, wait. Patrick is not saying the shit they sell is fake. So far, he's just saying that pawn shops are manipulative and prey on the poor. Okay? He hasn't said fake.
Oh, it's fake, Agent. It's fake.
Harrison
it's fake, Agent.
Was not willing to
give my Bobby jersey fake. Picasso fake.
From the idea of him getting his own TV show.
Fugazi.
I have a pawn shop on the strip. You know what I mean? Like I was always like a media because that was like free advertising. So I'd always I'd put my it was the only 24-hour pawn shop on the strip in Las Vegas. And so I mean, so before you know it, I'm getting Super Bowl rings, things like that. Yeah. So I used to put I put my Super Bowl rings on this on eBay, like a week before the Super Bowl. Like, so then like a bunch of reporters, radio stations and things like that would call me, and it was always free press, and it was always good for business. So like 20 years ago, I'm thinking like, hey, if I get one of these reality shows, get a season or two, it might be good for business. Yeah.
Ironically, the way Rick and Brent got their reality show was by completely distorting the reality of the pawn shop. Basically, they sold a lie, and the History Channel bought it. In 2009, the History Channel was looking for something different to boost its ratings, which got Rick and Left Field Productions a second chance to share their idea. But to work with the History Channel, Rick agreed that the show had
I only watched this show on hotel TVs, bro. When I was in a hotel and nothing on, I wanted to watch TV, just put it on the pawn shop.
More family friendly than the original.
And I see they got a YouTube. I seen some YouTube videos of them. Like I'm subscribed to the channel.
It started with the characters, focusing on 3 generations of the Harrisons. Rick Harrison would sit at the center of the operation, often being referred to as the genius. He would be tasked with spotting fakes,
you don't want to go to him, you want to go to
history
Chumley
behind the items, and keeping the family.
You can't finesse him. You can finesse Chumley though.
Back in the day, the Mint was always coming up with new designs. They actually tried to get a nickel into circulation where there was a nickel, but it had a hole in the center, so everyone called it the Holy Nickel.
Rick's father, Richard Harrison, would take the name The Old Man. His role would be the
no-nonsense
patriarch
I never
of
seen
the
him
Gold
before.
and Silver pawn shop. He comes in with stories about what the business was like back in the day and constantly reminds the guys that he is the actual boss.
You don't turn that.
Bro, I never seen this dude before, bro. I only saw those 3: the Chumley, the genius, the other dude, and Chumley.
Car into a lowrider.
It's his car. He can do whatever he wants with it.
Well, it shouldn't have been his car. It was my car. I'm damn pissed I don't even want to talk to you.
To appeal to a younger demographic,
The Big Hoss, yep.
son Corey, or Big Hoss, would work alongside his dad, learning everything he can about the business, only to constantly mess things up and make bad deals.
Test drive it?
I promise to love you.
All right, Agent, you don't even have a dog. Come on, Agent, stop it.
Blue Buffalo start. No? What do you mean no? No, I didn't test drive it. It's a Chris Craft. The thing's worth like 30 grand.
He doesn't spend that kind of money until he asks me first.
They also decided to include
Chumley, yup.
Corey's childhood friend,
That's the one you want to go to right here, Chumley.
Austin Russell, or Chum Lee, who was essentially the comedic punching bag of the show.
Find me some good deals on that stuff then.
What kind of percentage am I gonna get?
Your salary.
I got no problem taking my salary as long as it walks through the doors, but if I'm putting in extra work.
Extra work? You don't work to start with.
But it wasn't the
Hold on, now? This was on a show? It was talking about niggas' salaries and shit?
characters that made the show successful. Even the producers knew that. I think
I don't know
people
about
love
that part.
stuff. The items are the stars.
Now they dove deep into the archives.
Stars that people really remember when you bring in a Coke machine from the 60s and what it felt like to go to a
I think I
Coke
saw that
machine.
episode when he brought in a Coke machine from the 60s, bro. I think I remember that.
And the great stories behind the stuff that you don't hear on other shows. On the show, people brought in gas masks for babies from 1938, ancient swords like katanas or Chris swords from the 14th century, helicopters, and ancient firearms used by naval officers and pirates. And despite literal treasure
Remember, who
coming
bought that?
through the
Chumley
doors
probably
now
bought
that
that.
the cameras were rolling, the guys initially were so stuck
What the
in their
hell
ways.
it is?
They're coming through the doors.
Bro, it's
now
a
that
piece
the
of dirt
cameras were rolling. The guys
full of pennies and makeup. Never remember, it's a piece of dirt
initially
full
were
of pennies.
so stuck in their ways that they refused to buy anything. Brent Montgomery told students at the University of Texas that this was one of the biggest hurdles. If you ever met those guys, I couldn't convince them to pay more for anything, but I did tell them initially to try and buy the stuff even if they didn't want it. If we had a show where they never bought anything, it wouldn't work well.
True.
This is likely what led to Rick's infamous lowball offers.
What were you looking to get out of it?
$7 grand?
Ooh, $7 grand's not gonna happen.
That's hilarious, bro. How much you want for it? $7 grand. Ooh, hey. Hey, calm down now, hey.
3,500.
$3 grand.
One time,
After that, $3 grand. $4 grand. Deal.
Rick
Nah, $350. 3,500. Nah, $4 grand. Well, I go $4 grand. No, I say $4 grand. You say $3 grand. Now find me in the middle. 3,500.
lowballed someone so bad, even his son Corey called him out. It started when a seller brought in a pair of 18th century onyx diamond spectacles.
There's enough stones and precious metals in them to make them worth a lot of money.
The customer said he wanted $5,000 for the pair, but when
Damn,
Rick stepped
too
in,
bad.
he offered way less.
Generally, jewelry from this time period of this quality is worth a lot of money.
Good.
But technically,
Too
this
bad.
isn't jewelry.
So what do you think they're worth?
He said a lot of jewelry during this time period was worth a lot of money, but this ain't jewelry. 2 bands. But what you said was jewelry.
$700 or $800.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He said what?
This isn't jewelry.
So what do you think they're worth?
$700 or $800.
Seriously?
Yeah.
The seller then adjusted his price per Rick's recommendation from $5,000 to $850, and even Corey knew they borderline ripped this guy off.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better about these now that my dad
Yeah,
looked them
that's a
over.
rip off. Where you go from? He's doing 5,000. He said, nope, 850. What? Or let me get at least 2,000. 2 bands.
But I think he might have lowballed a little bit.
And it's because of deals like this that Rick became a massive meme online.
Yup. Yup. I remember the memes. I remember the memes, bro. I have all 6 cents. All best I could do is $20.
Of deals like this that Rick became a massive meme online. However, it was clear that Pawn Stars had found gold. Their season 2
6 years
premiere
ago,
drew
buddy.
7 million total viewers,
It depreciated
which
in
drove
value.
the History Channel to become the #1 cable network for the night in total viewers, making it the highest rated telecast in the network's history. But ratings like this weren't the result of dumb luck. They came from a calculated design. And once you look past the dumb jokes, the humble family business facade, you start to see something else. A very controlled, very repeatable formula designed to get the best deals possible from the sellers. So let's break it down. It all starts with the manufactured image of the cast, which is the Harrison family. The producers have been very open about the fact that they cast blue-collar looking people to trick honest blue-collar people into thinking these reality stars are one of them. I always say we're looking for really smart people who look really blue-collar. Those are the casts that we've had success with. It's like when they put the average looking guy with the really hot chick in the beer commercials, so you want to buy the beer so you can be as lucky as that guy. That's who we're looking to cast in our reality shows. So now that Rick and his family...
Nigga, that's so fucking sad, bro. That, like, the fact that that could work is so fucking sad. That's so fucking sad. Fucking losers,
family
dude.
look like the people their target audience can trust. Now it's time to control the environment in which the transactions take place. What you see on screen is not the actual pawn shop, it's a TV set. By 2012, Gold and Silver Pawn had transformed from a small-time pawn shop into a full-on tourist trap. The general manager revealed that about 1 in 100 visitors to the Las Vegas pawn shop are actually there to sell an item. Otherwise, the staff typically shuffles tourist visitors out of the showroom when it's time to film. In response to Nevada's privacy laws and the increased traffic, the Harrisons couldn't continue to rely on their original shop. Instead, they worked with producers to make a separate showroom that was inaccessible to the general public. We got an
That's what I was thinking too,
this
yeah.
controlled environment when a seller secretly recorded his experience with a camera watch. Andrew Wilson uploaded a YouTube video detailing the process of him attempting to sell his vintage 1985 Rambo metal lunchbox. As he walked around, you can see the trusses above the fake shop with all the studio lights to ensure a perfectly lit set. From there, he went to an office in the backstage area where he met with a field producer who laid down some ground rules before they walked on set.
Okay, so this is when the lady comes in, sits you down, and says how things are going to go, what you can and can't do. And the biggest thing she says was you can't reference the show. You can't talk about that you're on a show. It's basically you're supposed to act like it's totally normal and you're not on a show.
Andrew and his father openly admitted that the only reason they wanted to sell the lunchbox was so they could be on the show. But the field producer said that they can't do that, which meant they had to lie for television.
Would they actually say, hey, this is my dad's, and would they say, does he know you're selling it? Would they say something like that?
I mean, I don't know.
That's the thing. See, that's the thing you don't think about. That's the thing you don't think about when you're watching it, like in person, live in person. When you're sitting there watching TV and watching it, you don't think about it. Like, bro, they just happen to have a camera out, and all these people coming to the stores and selling it, and they just happen to get these things all on camera. You know?
Like, why are you selling it?
You don't really think about it in the moment. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. If that makes sense. What did you do?
I know you can't reference the show.
When he finally walked onto the showroom floor, Andrew noticed that all the customers were just extras, pretending to be paying customers, looking at all the items in the background.
That's what I'm saying. Cause look, they got cameras in there, and there's a whole bunch. They gonna show the camera on one person, but there's a whole bunch of other people, a whole bunch of other people in the store. But they don't put the cameras on them.
What? And listening to
so
him
if you really think about it, but you know at the time you don't think about it.
Interact with Corey and Chum Lee is way different than what you see in the final product.
Take that. Yep, that's what they said.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Good.
I have a Rambo lunchbox, original from 1985.
Rambo, that's awesome.
The matching thermos. Here, I'll show it to you.
It reminds me of myself.
GD to Mbappe
Just a real badass.
Yo, no.
Yeah, GD to your jersey, buddy. GD to your jersey, agent.
You get this.
From my dad.
You mind to pull this out?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Fake jersey, fake painting. Fake! It's all fake,
He gave it
agent.
to me. He was a huge Rambo fan, huge Sylvester Stallone fan. He bought it back in '85, and he's had it ever since.
Then the AMP do a remember AMP did a pawn shop episode. I think I reacted to it.
To me.
Okay. Definitely a sign of the times, man. I can't imagine sending my kid to school today with a lunchbox of a Vietnam vet who had severe PTSD.
Damn, yeah, my kid would never.
Killed a couple cops and basically took the town hostage.
Yeah, my
The
kid would
awkward
never.
silence and bad jokes makes you realize just how much editing goes into this show. You can even hear the producers giving notes to Corey on what he should talk about.
We'll talk about what was it on
Yeah, I mean, you know, back then too, lunchboxes were kind of like your expression of who you were as a kid.
The awkwardness and the stiffness of the interactions is almost completely gone once you see the final edit.
At one point, Steve McQueen was going to play Rambo, Paul Newman was going to play Rambo, and then out of nowhere, Stallone writes, directs,
They're pretending like they know what the
produces
fuck
Rocky.
it is.
Yeah, all the stuff they're saying, like Corey and Chumley are acting like, yeah, they did this, and it's like, you don't actually know these things. You looked this up 5 minutes before we came out here. It's supposed to look like I just walk in and it's natural and everything. And for those of you
I'm
who
gonna be
don't,
honest with you. I feel like that's why I fuck with YouTube. Like, it's not that people can't fake things on YouTube; they get faked all the time. But for some reason, like when people can fake things on YouTube, it's obvious, and it just turns everybody off from it. But for some reason, on TV, when things are scripted or made to look real and they're not real, we just accept it as fact, and we're still entertained by it sometimes.
Yeah, you don't understand. In that moment, you don't understand for it. And understand that. That's the thing. You gotta sit there and think.
The fact that they have to hire extras to pretend like the store is active is so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, at least
Because he only put the camera on one customer when there's multiple other people in the store. I'm like,
you could pretend is real. Like, it not being in a shop for lighting, you can just properly light the store, dude. You don't need to make a whole set.
facts.
already know, it's not like that.
But you can fake the
It's just,
viewers though.
Multiple takes and they tell you specifically what you can and
Just have
can't
an
do.
AI
And in case you needed any more proof of
Control
how
the environment.
contrived these
Environment control.
interactions really are,
Control the environment. The whole point is supposed to feel candid. It can feel candid. The thing about candid, real life experiences, you can't always control it. So if a guy interrupts, knowing that they're filming, obviously there's big ass cameras, then that's just whatever. They could edit it out later. They could keep it in for authenticity. You know,
True. Choice is yours.
you don't have to curate everything.
Producer Brent Montgomery admitted that the guys are not exactly the experts in history they are portrayed to be, saying, "We found really
On
smart."
YouTube, everybody cares. On TV, nobody give a fuck.
He can't do anything about it.
Producer Brent Montgomery admitted that the guys are not exactly
new
the
TV.
experts in history they are portrayed to be, saying, "We found really
On
smart
YouTube, everybody cares. On TV, nobody give a fuck.
scripters to feed the characters organic information." Now, in this particular instance, Andrew just wanted to be on the show. He didn't really care about making a deal, but that's not the case for most sellers, nor is it for the Harrisons. After all, they do actually have a real pawn shop with full intentions to buy and sell items for a profit, which is why the next phase of their system is a calculated scheme to make sure that they get the best deal possible. Now, about half the time, Rick
That's everywhere. I get paid daily to make the mall in my city look busy. I also get paid to cause traffic downtown my city. You're just making things up.
Bro, you niggas get paid to make traffic, bro? Just to rage? These people get paid to rage, mate?
Corey Chumley
You I get paid to cause traffic downtown in my city. What? With NPCs?
or the old man will pretend like
Bro, I
they
never heard
have
that before. That's new. That's new. He found a new way. Hey, man, he found a new way to get to the bag, man. Hey man, cause traffic downtown, you get a bag.
Of knowledge on whatever item is brought in front of them.
I'm 99.9% sure it's real. I still have that chance that it's not.
The seller puts the item on the counter, and one of the guys will
First
go
I
into
said, bro, pay the NPC.
a history lesson giving all the relevant details as to why the item is interesting or valuable. However, the other half of the time,
I do be driving by cars though. Be like, you know, you had a red light or whatever, your car pull up next to you. Or you pull up next to a car, you don't see no one driving a car. Hey man, it's an NPC. That's an NPC. I be seeing the NPCs, they real. NPCs are real. Like I said, I put a red light, pull up next to a car, no one driving a car. The car just sitting there, stop and park or on the brake at the red light. I don't see no one in the driver's seat. NPC.
Play dumb and admit that they know nothing about the item that is trying to be sold. But lucky for them, 100% of the time they have a buddy who specializes in the exact thing that they need more information on.
Murray got paid to use the water fountain in college?
Right down the street. I got a buddy who deals in all these antiques. I got a buddy who works right down the street. He's got a sports shop. I got a buddy of mine. I call him in a lot when I deal with expensive sports stuff.
I got a buddy that's pretty good with stuff like this. Let me have him come down and kind of give me an idea of what they're worth.
Let me call somebody who will know everything about this. I got a buddy who all he does is like
Facts, the buddy, that random dude always comes in. Hey, I got a buddy. I gotta take a look. I got a buddy that comes in, and a buddy comes in. All of a sudden, he just looks at it. It says everything that's already been said before he even came in. He's like, yeah, look good, but it's old. I can't do anything about it, man. I can't do anything. They give you a low price.
Yeah.
I got a buddy that works literally right across the street.
And this is
somebody in this environment would definitely have a buddy for everything.
Yeah.
Twitch pays me to watch you.
Hey man, it's true though. It's true. They could clip it. We gonna say it. The person you can put up on YouTube, bro. Hey man, they can put that up. That's how plugs were created. That's how plug channels were created. Shout out your rage.
Perfect trap. From the seller's perspective, that expert feels neutral. He looks authoritative. He explains the item's history.
Yep. I have a buddy. Then he comes in, just looks at it, and says everything that's already been said before he even walked in. All that being said, is 200.
Verifies if it's real, maybe even compliments it. But when they give the appraisal, they typically say something like, at auction, this might go for, followed by almost always a price that is far less than what the seller wanted.
Facts, yep.
And now that the expert established the price, the seller now looks crazy for asking anything equal to or more than what they said. But even if the sellers remain firm in their initial asking price, Rick and the gang start talking about the risk, the overhead,
he just comes in.
Please, storage, the fact that it might sit on a shelf for months. Now the seller isn't negotiating based on what they think their item is worth, but rather they're negotiating based off if the buyer can make a profit or not.
I have to make money on this thing. I might get $4,000 out of it, but that's not an auction. There's auction fees. It'll take me a year to get my money. I got to spend money to ship it across the country somewhere.
Putting that already as well.
Yeah, it's $2,100.
And this system, 80 to 90% of the time, leads to the pawn shop getting the seller to sell something to them for far less than what they originally thought it was worth. But in reality, these buddies aren't some objective third party walking in off the street, but rather someone coordinated by production who understands the show and who could get more opportunities to be on television if they excel at their job. Take Bob Uhas, for example, who is the expert they call on when they need to restore an automobile, antique toys, and vintage machines.
This is collectible because it's very rare. Done correctly, done nice, starting at 5,000 and up.
And like this,
you should be happy if you walked home with it for $800.
Not only is Bob an expert when it comes to bringing discarded items back to life, but he is also somewhat of an actor who was in a couple episodes of American Restoration and Mystery Diners, a hidden camera show to gather evidence of theft or poor customer service at restaurants. So he's not exactly a neutral third party. You can actually argue he is incentivized to give the Pawn Stars guys exactly what they want instead of maximizing the seller's potential payout, especially considering that in the clip I played before, the seller got $850 and Bob got paid $2,600.
I got a buddy that has better information on this. Then the customer said, I got a buddy too who knows everything about this.
To restore the go-kart. It just seems likely that if Bob does exactly what the producers want, he could get more screen time, which means more business for him. The private businesses owned by these experts or buddies benefit from the show so much, you'd almost assume that they have some sort of contract. And one of Rick's buddies may have accidentally leaked information we were never supposed to know. Sean Rich was one of the most well-known experts, appearing in over 50 episodes of Pawn Stars since it debuted in 2009. Sean is a master antique gunsmith, and he's usually called in when the guys need antique guns, swords, or other armory appraised. But when one fan noticed Sean disappeared and they had a few other gun experts on the show, they emailed him saying, "Why haven't we seen you on Pawn Stars recently? We miss you." Sean replied with, "Unfortunately, to make a very long story short, the production company and History Channel wanted me to sign an exclusivity agreement to lock me down, control me, my business, future, my appearance, how I make a living to provide for my family, and expect me to do it for free or very little money without any negotiation, with no guarantee of being used." Now, of course, Sean could be leaving out very important context. It could just...
Look, I'll stand on this shit to the day I die. We collectively let companies and governments get away with things because they don't have a face. And we're hypercritical of individuals, but we're very easy on companies. If you found out today that a streamer you didn't like, an actor you didn't like, was doing some manipulative contract work, there would be a fucking uproar, factually. But when goddamn Microsoft does it, nobody give a fuck.
True.
Nobody give a fuck. It pays to be faceless, because it's hard to aim a gun at somebody when you don't even know what they look like.
Yep.
Feel me? It's easier to criticize people than it is to criticize a brand or an entity. And that's so bizarre to me that we don't keep it a buck both ways, bro. Factually, though. Factually.
And someone in chat says, look up the CEO. If it's his fault.
I've seen music labels get away with doing shit.
Facts. Fact, music labels, yeah, for sure.
It's inhumane. There's no face to it. You might know the CEO, but even then, like, sometimes there's a little bit of repercussions. We care about the wrong things, bro.
Straight up be a lie, or even a fan.
What you mean you want to control the nigga likeness and everything? Exclusivity for free without negotiation.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
What?
Inhumane. Crazy.
What kind of offer is that? It's some mafia shit.
Just making something up out of thin air wanting to stir up drama. But the idea of the experts having a contract with the show makes sense considering how much the show changes the lives of the experts. Jeremy Brown was the buddy they called in for anything related to sports memorabilia. He relocated his store, Ultimate Sports Cards and Memorabilia, just 1 mile down the road from Gold and Silver Pawn due to how much business the show was bringing him. However, there are countless negative reviews accusing Jeremy of selling fake cards, charging $50 to $100 more than the market rate, or extremely lowballing sellers. Wonder where he got that strategy from. Jesse Amoroso, owner of Cowtown Guitars, is the expert they would call in regarding vintage guitars.
It's a copycat world. Are you gonna be a trend center in a world full of copycats?
He also relocated his store to just 1 mile away from Gold and Silver Pawn. Unfortunately, he was also probably the wrong guy to platform. Cowtown Guitars permanently closed its business operations after drowning in negative reviews, with multiple people calling Jesse a thief, refusing reasonable refunds, and providing horrible customer service. Even their professional sports authenticator, Steve Grad, who was in charge of authenticating all autographs on sports memorabilia on Pawn Stars, got sued for approving numerous forgeries as legitimate. He then admitted in open court that he has never had any education or training from PSA with regard to how to authenticate signatures.
Dang!
In court that he learned everything he knows about this business from a buddy. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of the Pawn Stars experts are fraudsters. I'm not suggesting what they are doing is illegal or even deceiving, but it is highly controlled so that the house always wins. And some sellers suspect this and straight up admit that they don't believe the experts.
Yeah, you should.
If you want to buy this, I'd pay no more than $600 or $700. This one, if you want one of these, I can get you one for $1,500.
No, they're worth a lot more than that.
If you think you can find these on the internet for $1,500, knock yourself out, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'd give you $1,000 for the coin.
Hold on. I'm about to check something that might get me tight. eBay. Signed Mbappe jersey.
He's about to crash. About to crash out.
Say it ain't so. No, say it ain't. Say it
He's
ain't
about to go
so.
crazy.
Say it ain't so. I'm a sucker. I'm a bitch. I'm a pussy. Bro, what? Exact same one, dude.
$700 or $640.
Signature is the same.
How much you got that for? How much you paid for that?
Okay, signature does look the same. Yo, chat, I got fucking boomed, dude.
Bamboozled.
For that.
You paid how much?
Yo, chat, I got fucking boomed, dude. I paid $3,000 for that. I walked in the store. It was originally $4. I got the price down to $3. And I said, chat, should I buy it? And you guys told me
Yo, chat, y'all crazy, chat.
Bro.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Yeah, buy it. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Oh, no, that's not a good deal. You shouldn't have took it. You told me to take it. You told me. I love chat, bro. Y'all hilarious. Yeah, they like, chat, this is a good deal, chat? Yeah, that's a good deal. That's a great deal. Great deal. 3K, 3 bands, that's a great deal. Then now you're watching this video. I'm gonna go do your research on eBay. Oh yeah, you shouldn't have took that deal. You told me to.
Nigga. And this shit is PSA certified, bro. My shit wasn't Hold on.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated from
Damn.
Encore.
Bro, that and click on this video. He would never found out.
Vitamin water from New York.
All right. This is what I'm gonna do. All right. I'm gonna go to a certified, I don't know, fucking jersey expert and painting expert. I'm gonna see if they're real. Now, if they're not real, you're gonna have to add that fucking store to my list of companies I despise. They're gonna go up there with fucking AT&T.
What happened to AT&T? What happened to AT&T? What agent?
Real offer?
Fake scandal?
That's a legitimate
Look,
offer.
if I got hold in price, then it is what it is. You know, rich tax, it is what it is. But if they're fake, then it's up.
Yeah, that's not a legitimate offer. You're just using your position here, trying to buy something for below its market value.
1,000 maybe.
So that would be your crybaby, whiny opinion. If I come back, it would be interesting to have the same appraisal guy. Sometimes I'd like to smack him, but that's just me.
But it took viewers years to pick up on this calculated system the Pawn Stars created to maximize their profits. The golden era of Pawn Stars is considered by most to be seasons 1 through 6, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that everything looked more small scale and authentic. There were a few big items, but they were almost always rejected by the Harrisons for being too pricey or impractical. The History Channel had successfully made the Pawn Stars look like good, honest, hardworking, humble American underdogs rather than multi-millionaires who were ripping off honest people. And millions of their middle America fans cheered them on like they were rock stars.
They had merch.
We're basically here celebrating that Pawn Stars is going to Thursday night. We got Leonard Skinner playing in the parking lot of the pawn shop.
Pawn Stars rocks!
Congratulations on another great season.
But in the mid to late 2010s, even their fans stopped seeing them as a humble family business and more like ultra-calculated scammers. And once that illusion was broken, the personal lives of the Pawn Stars started to crumble. On June 25th, 2018, the old man passed away after a private battle with Parkinson's disease. His loss was a major blow to longtime fans of the show, and Rick Harrison worked with the History Channel to make a memorial episode to remember him by.
This pawn shop is more than just a place of business. There's a lot of memories here, and most of those memories are with my father. Got the privilege of working with my dad 5 days a week for almost 40 years.
The loss of the old man was definitely the first major sign that the show was on its last legs. His dynamic with Chum Lee was one of the few scripted interactions worth watching. From here, Rick had mostly given his role of the genius historian over to the large collection of experts, and Corey had pretty much checked out entirely, as viewers no longer bought the storyline suggesting suggesting he wanted to be the next big boss. Then again, even from the very beginning, he never looked like he even wanted to be there.
I probably told my dad I hate him more than I love him.
It's just stupid. It's really stupid. What about the other really bad tattoos you have?
You know, the only chance I have, the only way I have to move up around here is one of them dies.
It's likely that the old man, or the money they were making from the show, is the only reason the family stayed together. Because on screen, you probably would have thought that it was this wholesome, small family, but in real life was an entirely different story. Rick Harrison detailed a lot of the reality behind the scenes.
Bro, my battery's still going low, even though it's on the charger?
In one of the chapters,
bro, what is going on?
That both Corey and Chum Lee had battled meth addiction before being hired full-time. It also explained why the two struggled with weight throughout the series, as they used fast food as a way to avoid getting high. In fact, 2 years before the old man passed, Chumley was arrested in Las Vegas on felony weapon and drug charges.
Bro,
he
it
was
should be
taken
going
into
up now.
custody when officers serving a search warrant in a assault investigation found methamphetamine, marijuana, and at least one unregistered gun at his southwest Las Vegas home. By some miracle and an expensive lawyer, Chum agreed to 3 years probation to avoid jail time and continued working on the show like nothing had ever happened. As for the Harrisons, life after the old man's death slowly turned into a nightmare in the press, especially in 2022. Although it had mostly been kept a secret, Rick had a long-standing feud with his mom, Joanne Harrison, who slapped him with a lawsuit which states that when she and Rick's father, Richard Harrison, started the shop, she was given 51% of the ownership. After Richard died in 2018, his shares went to Joanne. In the early 2000s, Joanne was in the hospital and allegedly unknowingly signed away her shares to Rick after waking up from a coma. Additionally, she accused Rick of hiding details of her late husband's assets and failing to provide her with monthly allowances. To make matters worse, Joanne filed a temporary restraining order against Rick to prevent him from stopping monthly payments to her and hiding any
I'm asking for 3 more
assets.
minutes.
The restraining
Not a
order
month.
stated, while Rick
Not an
enjoys
hour.
his comfortable
Not a
life
year.
as a celebrity,
3
firmly
minutes.
in control
That's all
of
I'm
the
asking
family
for. 3 more
businesses and
minutes.
finances, Joanne
No
was left
pauses,
frightened
no
and
skips.
unsure of if she will have enough
3 more
resources to
minutes.
pay for her considerable medical and personal expenses each month. And this only appeared to be the start of the Harrisons family
But my
troubles.
battery's still
That
going low
same
even though it's
year,
on the
Corey was
charger.
suspected of driving under the influence after allegedly
I never seen
swerving
anything
all over
quiet
the
like this
road in an
before.
alleged relapse. While he would manage to walk out of jail 8 hours later, Rick's son Adam Harrison wouldn't
Come
be
on,
so
I got
lucky.
you 2
Now,
more
again,
minutes.
if someone just watched Pawn Stars, you'd have no idea that Rick's family is much larger than it appears. In reality, the man has been married 5 different times.
He got married 5 times?
God damn. 2? Okay. 3? I get it. 5? Fuck. Hey, man. At a certain point, you gotta just stop at girlfriend, my nigga. Like,
with the latest wife named Angie Palushkin in 2026. From those many wives, Rick
Bro
has
gets
had
married
3
every year.
sons, Corey, Adam, and Jake. He also has 3 stepdaughters,
Bro getting
Serena,
married every
Sienna,
year.
and Marissa. And while Jake made some brief appearances on
Hold up. I said no skips, no pauses, but hey, man.
Stepdaughters, Serena, Sienna, and Marissa. And
Sienna,
while Jake
Marissa,
made some brief
and who
appearances,
else?
has 3 stepdaughters, Serena, Sienna, and Marissa. And while Jake made some brief appearances on the show, most people wouldn't know that every family member has either worked or visited the pawn shop countless times. Rick's son Adam was one of the family members that worked off and on at the pawn shop, but tragically, most fans only saw his face when his own drug habit took a turn for the worse. In 2024, Adam was found dead after an accidental overdose of fentanyl. It was evident that the family drama and trauma was stacking up to a point where they just couldn't do the show anymore. And in 2025, it was finally announced that the show was not going to be renewed on the History Channel for another season. However, recently they announced a return, but this time without
new cast
Corey.
member.
He said, "At this stage of the game, we're all playing a character on Pawn Stars. I can't play another season of 41-year-old me pretending to be 23. However, Rick and Chum Lee started a podcast at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, where Rick doesn't really seem like he wants to let go. And even though everyone now knows that Pawn Stars is one of the fakest shows on television, he still has a hard time admitting how staged it really was."
I guess the answer to that question is, it's not a set, but it is kind of a set up.
Yeah.
Mock of the pawn shop
but
up
it's
front.
all
The entire show is filmed here at the pawn shop.
15 years of dominance on TV just for it all to come crashing down, destroying the legacy of the show forever, which is almost the exact same thing that happened to Impractical Jokers, as they could not prevent their private controversies from making headlines. But check out this video if you want to hear that story.
All right, look, bro. As long as my shit not fake, we good, bro. If I got scammed because I didn't know no better, that's on me for walking in there with a camera and trying to farm content and asking the chat if I should buy it or not. Realistically, feel me? It is what it is. Sometimes you get hoed when you buying a car. Sometimes you get hoed.
Yeah, sometimes take L's, bro. You want to say I take the L's, but you know, it's how you bounce back. That's the important part, man. Shout out to the L's. That's what makes you. Them L's. What you do after them L's.
But if that shit is not real.
All right, man. Like I said, in the moment you don't think it's fake until you sit down and realize and think about it, and it's actually fake. All these customers in the store. How come only one camera's on one person? But shout out to Agent, shout out PRNC. What did you? My battery about to die.